Hey everyone, I'm David Room, and today we're going to be doing some live coding. It's been a while since I've done this, had a number of different things going on, and the stuff that I was working on didn't seem all that interesting for a bit. And I kind of had to work through a few things, but I've been meaning to get back into it, and I think we found a good spot. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of a overview of what I've been working on in the past couple weeks. I haven't had a ton of time. That's kind of another reason that I haven't been streaming too much lately. But I think we're at a point now where a bunch of work, and some of this work actually um, goes back actually to about this time last year, is going to pay off. So, and I've been anxious to share it with you again. So let's get started. Just gonna double check on a couple things here. Okay, so I've been working on what I call the sort of high detail aspect of my project, which I've gone over this before, but for anybody who might be new, I'm making this game, right? Here's an example, screenshot from the game. This doesn't look kind of hard to see, but it's a sort of retro style space combat game. But the philosophy is with the game that I'm building all of the content for the game with code, and there's sort of two branches to uh, any any ship or model that I create. One is sort of a low poly retro looking version that I'm making for the game, and then I can also make that model as like a very high detail, more high resolution model that I could uh, render in Blender. Hey Skunks Workshop, good to see you. So here's actually a nice image of what that looks like. So a ship called the Needle. Um, this is kind of like what the low detail game version looks like, and this is what the high detail model looks like. So a lot more. There's panel lines and more detailed parts and different greebles and things like that. And the reason that I'm kind of doing it this way is I like the idea of generating things with code, and that I can sort of tweak things non-destructively. But another thing that I like about this workflow is that by making the low poly versions of the ships first, I kind of get to focus on the design, and I'm trying to make these kind of striking silhouettes and things. So I get to focus on the design first and then add the detail onto it later. Um, the goal of some of this is not just making the game, but actually doing some 3D printing of these things, and that's kind of what I'm working towards now. I did a little bit of work earlier in June to kind of get that whole process going again. I didn't actually print anything, but that's kind of what I'm winding up for. Um, so I'm working more on this ship called the Ashinoko. So this is kind of what the Ashinoko looks like in game. Actually, let me see if I can just bring it up here. And the Ashinoko is a larger ship. It is a frigate, so not huge, but also not tiny. Just kind of compared to like a fighter, you can kind of see the scale up to the bigger ships. Um, so I've been working on the Ashinoko here, but not the game version. I've been working on the high detail version, and yeah, I got back in June. I was kind of getting my high detail pipeline up and running again, and building some new functionality. So the way the way my process works for kind of converting a low detail model into high detail model is I slice the model up kind of in slices like perpendicular to its length, and those become like big panels, and those can be merged by adjacent panels in the ring or slice. And I also added some functionality that lets me merge panels across rings, so that's new. Oh, thanks, Skunk's Workshop. I'm glad you like that fighter. So then from there, the new functionality I'm building now is basically adding greebles to these panels based on nearby components. Now, a couple of years ago, I built a system for doing this, but there were some big problems with it. It used mesh booleans, which are kind of inherently fragile. They don't work super well. And then they're kind of limited in how you can add different details. And I came up last year with this new workflow that kind of, rather than cutting things destructively with mesh booleans, it's like you build things constructively with these two-dimensional loops that you kind of stack on top of each other. And I mean, you can combine these two approaches together to get even better details, but this is like the starting experimentation of these approaches, where, you know, like if you have a greeble that you know is going to go on this panel, you can kind of build these structures around it so it looks like it belongs there. And a big part of what I'm trying to do with this is, like, I want to build things that don't look random. I find a lot of 3D art tends to look cool and interesting, but it also just looks random, like there's detail just for the sake of detail, and I don't like that. So yeah, this is some more experimentation, like adding little details to corners of panels and different structures, and that's another thing that's really, really easy to do with this new approach. Okay, so then getting into this month, I think what we did in the last live stream is we built a new mesh viewer using this library called Polyscope, and I've since actually discovered some issues with Polyscope, but we're still going to be using it for now. We can go back to the old one if we need to. And a good project or something that I might show off is I might modify Polyscope a little bit. Polyscope uses matcaps for rendering, which would be cool, but I don't think they're actually using them correctly. So that's something that we might have to fix. And here, this is just a lot of like rewriting of different data structures that I was using for this process. Yeah, random symmetric greebles, symmetric bevels on greebles. So this is really starting to look like what I'm picturing in my head here. All kinds of different structures, just starting to tweak and add more detail. And let's bring up where we're at today. So and the cool thing about this new approach too is it's really fast. The mesh booleans were slow. I had all these hoops that I was jumping through to try to get them working. So actually, before I get too much further, I'm just going to show what I was talking about panel merging. So you can see there's like a slice here, a slice here, a slice here, right? But then like this panel, I would have merged across these slices, and this panel I merged across these two slices. So you can get some neat effects. You can get some neat effects when you start merging across slices. That kind of breaks up the lines, and I think it looks really good. So this is actually some mesh booleans there. That's why that was taking a bit to do. So here's kind of like the final mesh, and it's kind of hard to see in Polyscope because of the, I think, incorrect way they're doing the matcap rendering. But there's little I call them fasteners, the little squares on the corners of the panels, and it's easier to see in Blender with the better cavity and stuff. So what we're gonna do today, and this model is not quite done. There's more detail I want to add to the greebles. There's a few parts that need more detail, but I want to start getting the Blender materials on this. So we're going to look at that. And if we run into problems, which we might, because there's some gotchas to the approach that I'm doing, we might pivot over and look at a different ship or something different. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do, because I'm anxious to actually start getting some nice renders of this ship. It's one of the nicer looking things that I've built, and I think it's time for it to actually it's time to actually start making some nice finished renders instead of just dinging around with it. So let's get to it here. So let me just double check here that I don't have any unnecessary stuff in here. And I think I probably have started on a bunch of the stuff that I'll need to do here, so okay, get rid of this. Yeah, see that how much longer the Booleans take compared to other stuff. Okay, so I love how fast it loads in Blender though. It's really fun. Okay, so I'm gonna quit using our workbench and go back to the script that I have that I use for actually exporting things. So, and we'll just patch this in here. So this is just a dictionary of like the different functions that I'm going to save. The different functions that create the models that I'm going to save. Let's just double check that that is real. It is. Okay. And let's see what issues, if any, I run into this. Hopefully we'll only have to run this part once, and if we have to run it more than once, then we can make it go faster for the sake of experimentation. Okay, so now that that's done, I've got a different script. Let me just close out all of this stuff here because I need all of this. I've got a different script that can load the ship in through the bigger description of the ship that includes stuff like weapons and things, and put that into a Blender scene. So that is scenario viewer high, and let's see here. Can actually just this one. Forget what some of this stuff is even about here. So I've renamed a lot of this stuff a bunch of times. Oh yeah, nice. There's those descriptions. Okay, so, and I'm fully expecting this to not work, so we might have to do a little bit of debugging. And let me just, there was a flag in here. Flatten is false, okay. Oh, it's probably gonna crash if there's no paint. Let me check this. Paint, yeah. Okay, so paint is the system that I have. Actually, it'll just be none. Paint is the system that I have for putting, yeah, I gotta use the name constants on these. Jeez. Paint is the name of the system that I have for like putting the high detail materials on things. So we're gonna have to make paint for the Ashinoko, but that shouldn't actually be too hard. It's just maybe a little bit of thinking around. Okay, yep, and we get failed because weapons miss. Oh. I wonder if let me oops. Yeah, we gotta save some models back out here. Functions, yeah, okay. So, and just okay, and we've got to clean up some stuff here. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of music here. Hopefully this isn't too loud. You guys let me know if the music could be louder. I need to do a stream sometime where I figure out audio levels once and for all. Okay. Okay, yeah, so was just wrong module. Okay, yeah. There's the miscellaneous weapon parts we need. And I bet there's actually another. But there's actually something else. Yeah, I'm gonna move this guy. Okay. Okay. This is interesting. So things that have been is this just name? Let me just take a look at this. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Gotta look at my data structures here again. I forget. Is it just name? I don't think so. What's the template name? So basically what's going on here is I'm trying to figure out, there's certain things that I'm keeping track of by like the type of the ship, because I have a system called prototypes where basically you can have like multiple copies of the same ship in the scene, so I only load all the meshes associated with the ship once. I think it's actually I want this is interesting. I rebuilt this system, I think, since I used to have this exact type field, which I got rid of, and now I'm thinking I might need it. Let's take a look here, because where do I? Oh, interesting. Okay. We're gonna patch over some of this stuff for now. Okay, so this needs to be fixed. But I think for now it'll be okay, because we're just looking at one ship for now. So and this is where we're gonna run into problems. Okay, so let me bring up those designations again. I need to actually pull out the designation in the future and not use the name, but I'm not going to do that now. And when I'm building this dictionary, I think, let me check how I did something here. I think yeah. Okay. This definitely need to bring back that exact type or something analogous to it. Okay. But for now, I'm just going to just build this by name, so we're just gonna repeat that. Okay. So it started running. Okay, and then we gotta save a couple more models. So okay. This is something else I gotta fix here. So this has been replaced with a different way of so I moved away from using OBJ files and towards this pickle format. I think that'll do it. Oops. Yep, I need to save that as well. Actually, we'll just copy that over for now. So I've got these two different folders that are like low and high detail versions of things. And so I think just need this guy and this guy. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. There it is. All right. Okay, the hard points are floating there for some reason. But, oh, I wonder if that's the... That's probably the prototype hard points, because that's something that I added. But the model seems to be loaded in, so that's good. So now I'm just gonna bring this up. We've got our world shader, and of course we don't have any other shaders. Oh, nice. We do have the. We just have some like basically empty things here. And let me just check here. I think I still have my assets and everything, so I think if we use the stuff that's in the other paint, we should be able to load it. So, okay. So let's just try this again. So that should load pretty quick. And we've got the smoothing and everything as well. These must be... Yeah, all those hard points in there. Okay, so now we just gotta work on the paint. So let's do that. So paint is basically just a set of functions that assign certain materials and configurations to parts by name or by other properties that they might have. There's kind of an analogous thing that I built for the game called Livery, and I actually really like the way Livery works now, so it's probable that I'm going to rewrite paint at some point, but we're not going to rewrite it right now, we're just going to use it. And something, let's see, let's just take, I'm not concerned about getting the exact right thing on there right now. I think I just want to make sure that the system still works, because I've done a lot of refactoring and things since I've used this last. So let's just grab actually, let's look at our defaults here. I think I have a dictionary somewhere that's like all of the, yeah. So we're gonna add a entry here for stats. And where is this guy? And what we'll do, just gonna close a bunch of this stuff here. So this just fills in some default colors for things. Usually I have 2 different colors for panels, a color for crevices and edges, and then like some other color. So we'll just kind of start with the same thing here. And these are just colors that I've got hard-coded for now. Eventually I need to kind of rewrite some of this to have like a more consistent palette and things, but okay, so, and we'll just actually split this. And we'll just copy we'll copy this function and just kind of like reuse it. This. It's been a very long time since I've looked at any of this. Actually, probably close to a year. Okay. Okay. Yep. It's good. This is good, and I'm just gonna start renaming some things quick. Okay, and all of this is probably gonna be this, like pretty much the same. It's just gonna be like what the actual names are gonna be here. So, and I think my guess is a lot of this stuff is actually gonna work. We'll just see here. And just to test and make sure that this is being called and I don't spend time debugging something that is not actually getting run, I'm gonna just debug exit here, or debug input with a classic got here. Yeah, okay. All right, and it failed. Okay, we're still trying to import sphere.obj for no reason. Oh, I know why. Wait, do I know why? Oh, I think I... I thought I fixed that. So why would it be suddenly being trying to import that? Oh, for the material viewer. That is why. So this is when I'm loading in different materials, I have objects that they're put on that you can see kind of for debugging purposes. So these just, I have to make the same change here that I did in the other spot. So just gotta use this guy. See if there's any other so I don't run into this again. This is old stuff. And append. Oh, that was just a testing append. It's old stuff. Material pre. Oh yeah, here we go. This is another spot. This is actually probably. That is probably actually what was causing it. Okay. All right. Let's look. Oh, there it is. Now let's see, do we have materials? We do. Look at that. Look at that. It's fun when code works, isn't it? So just a little Blender crash course here for anybody who might not be familiar. I'm gonna turn down this music a little bit here. So in Blender, you have a hierarchy of objects that's in your scene. And when you want to render it, you have to put some kind of shader on it. And you program the shaders in Blender with these nodes. And the way my software works is I can create a scene in Blender and I can like put pre-created shader node trees on here. And these come from the asset library that I have, so they're configured, and then different changes and settings and stuff can be made. Let's see if this actually is working. I'm really curious to see if it is. I'm also really curious to see what happens when I try to render something in Blender while broadcasting. If it will do it, or if my computer will slow to a chug. No, it works. Cool. Okay. And this is like maybe not quite the right material for this. It's super shiny. Oh, and the radiator material didn't go on the radiators, so that's something to fix. And we didn't get proper materials on a couple of things. But like overall, I think most things got on there. Okay, let's focus on a couple things here, because I can live with some of this. We'll okay, so we'll focus on getting these in and the radiator material correct. Let me see what's going on with that. So that's the issue with the paint here. So we should be drive system. So this is like this 3-part tag that's like a name, prefix, includes, and excludes. So here, this is going to be the radiator material, and it should go on everything that starts with the ship ID, drive system, and includes rad. So why is that? Let's load it up again. Get rid of that. Oh, I know why. Because the radiators aren't on the drive system; they're on the fuselage. That is why. So, and then there are also some sensors on the drive, so gotta see how those are named, because we want the same. Yeah, okay, there's the radiator material. So we've got, yeah, you can see there's like fuselage rad 2, and then let's see here, fuselage sensors, sensor A, drive system, and then okay, so these are just some name that's not nice. Okay, I see. And the thruster system, shield 0, shield 1, 0, shield 2, shield system. Okay, yeah. Just try this. See how much more we get with this. so I got this new mouse, right? This Logitech MX Master 3. I really like it, except for the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel is extremely sketchy, like to the point of being pretty terrible. And if I didn't kind of collect peripherals, I might think about returning this. So I'm still getting used to it. Actually, what would be a lot better is if I just use a different mouse or tweak some things. There's some settings that can be tweaked for this, but this mouse does not get a best mouse ever vote for me. It's very, very good, but also very questionable. And depending on how you use your mouse, you might really have trouble with it. The rendering should happen fast. Yeah, there we go. Rendering's happening faster now because all the kernels are loaded. So we're kind of getting the right stuff now. Let's see. I think we can add turrets in and hard points too. Let's try that. So yeah, Skunk's Workshop mouse is super important. The thing with this mouse is the scroll wheel has this kind of cool feature where if you scroll really fast, it will release the ratcheting and free wheel, and that works pretty well. But the problem is it sometimes doesn't work consistently and can kind of make the scrolling jerky. And you've probably seen in this stream I'm like having trouble like zooming in and out sometimes with it. Okay, I'm just gonna bring this over on the other screen while I look at stuff here. So for now we're just using the same thing for a lot of different greebles, but that's okay. Yeah, and the reason that this isn't showing up is because these are turrets. So we want turret prefix on this, and we also want a hardpoint prefix. Here. And can we come up with a prefix for this? Drive system DRI dot. Just for now, that's gonna have to be fixed. But oh, and then I want to do this these antennas a different color too, but they might not be that might not be the easiest thing to pull out right now. And fuselage sensors. Yeah, we gotta get that in there too. Hey Doug, thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm getting my high detail pipeline up and running again. Nothing super duper flashy, but making some good headway on getting some old pieces working with some new work here. So fuselage sensor. Oh, and I want to get this docking ring too. Let's do that. Yeah, see it lets go and then it's really hard to get back. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah. That other mod for trying to pull out those parts isn't working, so that's something that I'll have to look at later. The rest of this is there though. Let's take a look here, and I think I've got my world. Let me just ding around with this a little bit, see if I can get a nice nice view. Track 2. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Yeah, it's like my prototype has the same name as the actual ship. I think oh yeah, class, yeah. That's, yeah. Okay. Skunk's Workshop. So he's asking if you said you were working with Booleans. So I had an old workflow that used Booleans more heavily. My new workflow uses less Booleans and uses a more constructive approach where I'm building things up. So like with Booleans, say like if you're trying to make a panel that looked like this, you could like make meshes that would like cut out these different shapes and then cut or like add them together, where each of these sort of subcomponents of this mesh were individual meshes that were manifold, that were closed, that you'd sort of add together. My new workflow, I just actually build this mesh up directly, and the way I build it up is I have sort of a list of loops that exist in 3D space, and then I can kind of stack them up and triangulate them and add details by building this sort of hierarchy of loops. So this this naming issue is gonna kind of Might kind of throw me off here. There we go. I can name it like that. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna make this just solid. Just this quick. Go like this. This and actually add an empty and I'm just adding a better target for the camera here. And so I can get the whole ship in frame easier. Where's my camera? Something like this. All right, let's take a look at the rendered view now. Let's move the sun around a little bit. I just want to try to get a nice, something like a nice rendered view here, and then we can call it good for tonight. Looks pretty good. And do I have some goofy shading going on here? Not too much. So I'm trying to find an angle that brings out those panel details. that I've been working hard on. Something kind of striking. That looks pretty cool. All right, now I'm gonna make a couple tweaks to the materials here. Actually, let me just try something else here. Rotate it a little bit here. Yeah, something a little different. I need to reinstall the Screen Keys plugin or add-on or whatever it is, so you guys can see what I'm doing with the keyboard. Actually, you know, something I might try here is just a little bit stronger. Can do a high contrast too to get a little bit more. Oops. And I'll turn off the get it a little bit closer to it, like that. Now let's try. Yep, that's the fun part after Skunk's workshop. After weeks of working on programming and dinging around, then you kind of get to the point where you can start kind of expressing yourself with it. And I definitely need some different materials here, but we're gonna just tweak these a little bit. So just tweak things a little bit. And then should have a stars background here too when I actually render this. And let's see here. Just gonna turn this off so it renders quick, and we'll just see where we're at. It should be setting up a bunch of different things, including like a composite, star background and a compositor and stuff. So let's see if the stars look stupid or not. I guess it looks like I need to. Looks like I need to fix transparency or something. Oh yeah. Yep, that's what it is. So, oh gosh, let's see if I can remember. Render. Where is it? Transparent, there it is. Okay. And then where are my stars though? Two. There we go. There's a better way to do this strength thing. I forget what it is though. Okay, there we go. And let me actually browse because I've got, say, size 10. I need to tweak this mouse. Okay. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. And let's just go in here and go back to our foreground. Turn this back on. I don't know why I have. Yeah, we'll turn denoise on. And where is my compositing? Well, we'll do render and then we'll see if I have compositing set up or not. Oh yeah, I definitely have compositing because I'm compositing the different layers. Okay, so derp, 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 derp. Would be great if I could remember the keys to. So this is basically just like where we're combining the different parts together. And let me see if I can just add a little bit of just a little bit of glow. High quality, and we'll make her a little bit smaller. It's like you can't. 7. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's render this bad boy now. Okay, nice. So this is the general idea. Obviously there's a lot of further work that's needed to be done here. I'm gonna turn off this music so I can think. Specifically like the correct materials on things. These were just kind of like the first things that I had at hand in the paint that I was basing this off of. I have some better materials that would actually pick up more on those panel lines and different things. And of course the drive materials should be different and some different colors. But I think I wanted to just get an idea of, once I got this into Blender, and once I got it in there with the compositor on it, with the kind of space lighting on it, how did these greebles look? And I'd say I'm pretty pleased with it. Definitely always more work to do. I think overall I could probably make some of the thicknesses of things more extreme so that they would get picked up a little bit better. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. At least just for kind of a first pass, the first time seeing this. So yeah. So yeah, getting back into the high detail stuff here. I'll probably be doing more work on this over the next few days. So watch on Twitter for renders and things, and then I'll also probably be getting back into some game stuff too. I actually had a couple of videos that I shared of game trailer stuff kind of take off on YouTube and get a lot of views, and I actually got some nice feedback and comments that I want to take a look at, and maybe even work on implementing in a live stream. I think that would be kind of fun. So I'll probably be doing that soon. Thanks for your kind words there, Skunks Workshop. Hope you enjoyed this and got something out of hanging out. I'm glad that you were here. It's fun to have people hanging out and chat a little bit and work on stuff together. So thanks, Doug, too, for hanging out. And everybody have a good night.